Anyway, Dean, tell us about some movies that you've seen, man.
This past week I watched Costa Galves's new movie, which was actually from 2012. It came out late 2012 in France. It's called La Capitale or Capital, and half of it is in English, half of it is in French. It does have an Irish star in it, Gabriel Byrne. But the lead is played by Gad Elmaleh. I think that's how you pronounce his name. It's a very good movie. Yeah, it's financial, and in that way, it's also political too. It's about the head of Gad Elmaleh plays the head of a really huge European investment bank, Phoenix, and he at the beginning of the film he gets appointed as the head of the bank, and then he spends the entire movie trying to cling on to power while an American hedge fund from Miami is trying to buy them out, and that's where Gabriel Byrne comes in. And anyway, it's for a I don't know how old Costa Gavras is now, but he must be in his late 70s. But for a movie for somebody in their late 70s or even 70s, wherever he's at, it's extremely fast-paced and also very, very easy to understand. This is the kind of film that you might feel like if you're not into financial matters, you might be a little bit behind the curve or whatever. But the screenwriter does a really good job of keeping us informed, and it's very technological, and just it's also kind of it's weird. It almost has little touches of like in pacing and in feel of like a comedy almost, and it's a very cynical comedy. It has one of the most cynical endings I've ever seen. To me, it's like it's an essential film to try and understand the whole bank mentality.
But there's been so many. There's been a lot of movies about the financial crisis and the bank's culpability in that, whether it be documentaries or narratives. Where does this fall in that family of movies for you?
For me, it's one of the more human ones. This one shows the humanity of a person in a CEO kind of, and it's also like the loss of his humanity too, while he's trying to keep this job on going for him. I mean, he has
which is something that was absolutely not in Too Big to Fail, and it was something I didn't feel much of in Margin Call.
Definitely Margin Call.
No.
Exactly. But here you get the scenes with the guy's wife. Where she's asking him, you used to want to be a teacher. Why don't you just go back to teaching? Why are you put yourself through all this headache running this bank? And why do you want to keep escalating it and escalating your do you really need all this money that you're making, all these bonuses and so forth?
Yeah.
And he just finds that he can't give it up.
It's like a gambling.
It's like a gambling addiction, really. And it's not. It's you can feel that it's not just gambling, but it's like an adrenal addiction.
That's a good point. That's a great point, Dean.
Good, really great final line that kind of says it all. It's really, really good. I mean, really terrific movie.
The more and more I watch it and think about it, the more I love Missing. Because I remember when Missing came out in '82 or whatever year it was, the critics were lukewarm on it. I remember, and especially since we lost Jack Lemmon years ago.
How can you be lukewarm on Jack Lemmon, though? I mean, really? I mean,
I remember Pauline Kael's review of Lemmon specifically in that movie, and she was just sick and tired of Lemmon playing the downtrodden everyman, you know, with the hat.
But he did it so well, though. I mean, he did it
and
so
the suit
well.
that looked like it was caught in the rain and all that kind of stuff. But I love that movie.
It's a great
movie to me. Yeah,
I really do too. I love that part, that first 40 minutes where Lemmon isn't even in it, where it's just John Shea and Melanie Mayron going around the city and everything, dealing with these strange figures that they see.
Let me go back to the movie Dean's talking about. You talk about addiction, and about a month or 2 months ago, a British, I don't know if he's an economist, a gentleman said that the latest financial crisis that happened in 2007, 2008 was caused by people being on cocaine.
I mean,
and people laughed at him, and that's not true. If you go back and read Michael Lewis's Liar's Poker about the stuff that happened in the 80s, a lot of this is guys, traders who are high on coke. They get these rushes, and they think, oh, I can do anything. I'm, I'm the king of the world. I can do whatever. I'm invincible. That's how this happened.
Since we're a movie show, that's what happened at the end of the 70s too to movies. A lot of these people that flamed out did so on cocaine.
Yeah.
Cocaine's probably responsible for more.
Rogue Trader.
Let me be clear. Let me be clear about this though. Cocaine is probably responsible for more creative breakthroughs in the 70s.
Yeah.
And the creative flameouts in the 70s too. I mean, it's responsible for all of it, I think.
Yeah. I mean, that Jack Nicholson book, Jack's Life, you could easily have called that, and it's a great book, but you could easily call that the history of cocaine in the Hollywood in the 70s. I mean,
so here's my advice. Anyone that wants to break into movies with this one big breakthrough movie that really wows people, take cocaine.
Should I get Michael Caine to help me with that? I mean,
yeah, Michael Caine. Yeah.